Hi there, my name's Rod Harlow from New Perspective NLP, Exceptional Thinking for Exceptional Results. This is the second video in a series of sharing tips, techniques from the amazing world of NLP to help make our lives a bit more livable during these times. So, I've got a real treat for you today. Who would value having and learning a technique which they can use with their children? So, who's having to be a teacher at the moment? And how's that going? What if I was to say to you, I've got a technique that you can learn, and then you can learn with your pupils as well, which will help them focus more, concentrate more, pay attention, more importantly, open up their mind to receive that learning and then shut it in. And then be able to recall it easily and effortlessly. Now, would this be of value to you? I bet. So, in NLP we call this the learning state. But I think to make it a bit more exciting with your pupils, I think we're going to call it the ninja state. And the reason I say that is because not only do we use it in NLP, but also martial arts people use it too. And this is all about using our eyes. It's about using our eyes and how we focus and relax our eyes. So, I don't know if you've heard of this phrase or this term, and it's called foveal. What happens is, when we focus on something right in front of us, in detail, that's what we call foveal vision. Now, the other type of vision you might be familiar with is what we call peripheral vision. And we take in a wider view. What this ninja technique does is we start with maintaining our foveal vision, and at the same time we're going to widen our gaze into peripheral. So let me take you through it. So we're going to start with finding a fixed point on a wall. And you want to be about halfway in the room, so you might be around a kitchen table, or you might be around a dining room table, which are normally around the middle of a room. Find a point on the wall, an object of some kind. It needs to be an object which doesn't move. Clocks are quite useful, but if they've got a second hand, I think it's a bit distracting because that's moving. But find an object, maybe an ornament, something that you can rest your gaze on. Now it needs to be about 45 to 50 degrees up. We need our eye levels, or our eyes, looking upwards. Doesn't need to be at the ceiling, but it needs to be upwards. So we're raising our eye gaze. And then when you've got that, we need to be focusing our gaze upon that point. So in this case, I'm going to look this way for the demonstration, and I'm finding a point, and I'm going to focus my gaze on it, and I'm looking up. And I'm going to notice every detail about that object. And I'm focusing on that object and noticing every single detail. Now I'm blinking my eyes all the way through this. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to blink our eyes as much as we need to whilst focusing on that one object on the wall. And as I focus my eyes on that object on the wall, I'm going to start to really, really relax my eyes. I'm going to start to take in the peripheral points. So I'm going to take in perhaps the first part of the front of the wall. I'm focusing on the object, and I can see that in detail, but I am still able to notice my two fingers in this case to demonstrate the peripheral vision. Now, as I'm starting to do that, I'm going to keep my eyes focused forwards on that object on the wall, and then I'm going to widen my peripheral gaze even more. Now at this stage it might be a bit blurry. These two fingers are going to be a little blurry, and everything up to that point might be just colours, for example. The more you do it, the more detailed it starts to get. It's a bit like using a muscle that you haven't used before, and it gets better and better as you train it. So I've got my eyes still on that object, and I'm in peripheral as well now. And what I want to do is I'm taking everything also up and everything also down. So I'm taking everything between those 2 points. And then I'm going to extend it even more. So now I'm taking 180 degrees. I'm taking 180 degrees of the room, the first half of the room. Now I've still got my eyes on that point, on that particular object, and I've got the detail of it. I'm blinking, but I've relaxed my gaze and I'm taking everything else in. And it might be blurry, and that's perfectly fine. Already I might be noticing that my breathing is starting to slow down and become more even. And I might notice that my awareness has increased. And it's increased in a bit of a different way, because I've increased my awareness of sound, so I can hear things even more. And I've increased my feelings as well. Perhaps my awareness of objects, or maybe other people in the room. Or maybe also of my feelings. And then if you get really good at this, you can keep on going. And you can start to take what's around and behind you. So you're going to follow the walls all the way back and past you while still focusing on that point until you've got a 360 awareness while still focusing on that point on the wall. And then take it one more step further. You imagine the back left hand corner of the room, looking down at the back of your head as you are looking at the point in front of you on the wall. And become aware of that. And see how that feels. And then when you've done that, you can bring your lifted gaze down to normal eye level, still blinking. See how you feel. Notice those feelings of openness. Notice the feeling that you're more aware than ever before. And notice that you are really relaxed and calm and ready, because your mind's open now, to receive all the learning. Okay, so when your pupils go back to school, when they've learnt this technique, they can find a point on a wall in the classroom. If they do the same thing again, they can get into that ninja state in order to be able to recall that information really easily and really effortlessly. Now, parents, this is great, not only for your pupils, but it's good for you, because you can do this anywhere. It's a really nice way of doing a bit of a reset, maybe after a hard day, or maybe before an important meeting, where you want to have that awareness around you. You can do this anywhere. All you need is a fixed point on the wall. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you find it useful. If you struggle with this, get in touch with me and I can either talk to you or take you through any element of this. And let me know in your comments. Give me some feedback on how it's gone for you. I think you'll find there'll be a real difference. Thank you.